We have had some technical problems.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're live.
Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to PTZOptics Live. I'm Tess Protesto with my co-host today,
Mike Lettermoser.
You may have noticed Paul is not with us today. He's taking a short little long weekend getaway with the family. So hi, Paul. We know you're in the chat. Thanks for joining us. We have a really exciting show in store for everyone today.
Today we have our guest, Matt Davis, our lead engineer. Woo-hoo. So we're going to be chatting with him for a bit today. We're going to be going over some NBA.
He always says NBA. I'm like, dude, get off the sports.
Swoosh.
This is technic.
So we're going to be talking about some NAB 2018 and what else we're going to be
talking about some new product releases. Basically you're getting some time today with the man, the myth, the legend, the magic magician behind PTZOptics. So you're going to have an opportunity to ask him some questions and also dive into some recent releases that we learned about at NAB and just recently in general. So
that's right. You ready
to
start the show?
Should we bring him on?
Yeah.
All right, guys, just a moment here. We're going to be right back with you with Mr. Matt Davis.
That's right.
Thank you, Michael.
Produce the show. Thank you.
Michael providing me some emotional support as I'm taking the lead on this one without Paul today.
1 second. Here we go.
Live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. A high-definition broadcast on Facebook, focusing on camera line tutorials with our Chief Screening Officer, Paul Richards, and our social media manager, Tess Protesto. Back to the basics live. New videos every Wednesday.
All right, you're on.
Hello, everyone. Do I have Matt with me yet? Because I can't see the output. Yeah, I know you're with me.
There you go.
I know you're with me, but my confidence monitor wasn't up. There we go. I do see now that I have Matt with me. Hi, Matt.
Why, hello, Tess. How are you doing?
I'm doing just wonderful. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
I like this whole setup you've got going on here. Some green screen action today.
Yeah, this beautiful little nice dive down on a good old school 6502 processor.
Oh my gosh, you actually know what it is.
Yeah, let me see if I can get the green screen part. I'll just do both hands. So like right here, it's got it labeled somewhere.
Uh-huh. That's too funny. I'm sure a lot of our friends in the chat will appreciate that, especially the fact that you actually know what that is behind you, because that impressed me.
You are the Matrix.
You are the Matrix. Everybody in the chat, you probably know who this is, but this is Mr. Matt Davis, our lead engineer here at PTZOptics.
Hello, everybody out there.
So today we're going to dive into a couple things. You were able to join us at NAB this year.
Yes, I was. That NAB is always a great time. Whether it's meeting great people that are inspiring as individuals, whether it's seeing an awesome product that's inspiring, or even just a speech, there's always something there that's inspiring. Maybe not all three, but, you know, I'll take one.
How many years have you actually attended NAB now?
Only, I think, 4 years now at this point.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah.
It was my first one, and it was a heck of a lot of fun. Matt and I were actually roomies. So he got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly with Tess. So you're a brave soul.
Hey, there's always a cup of coffee in the morning. That's one thing I have to say. It's a beautiful thing.
That's too funny. So diving back into NAB, I wanted to cover and ask you kind of what were the top 2 or 3 things, what really did inspire you from this year's NAB show that's your sort of notable things in the industry for us to think about. Anything come to mind?
Yeah, so the biggest one actually that I was impressed by, and now it was a hot topic a while ago, but it has a lot more value now, and that's virtualization. So it was the talk all over the place. And NewTek's really making a push for virtualization of their systems. And what gets really, really exciting, like if you let your brain sit there and think about it for a moment, you realize that we've now got these NDI cameras, ways to get NDI feeds out of, vMix, off your PC. But now, from a routing standpoint, if all the software is living in a stack in the cloud, everything's going to be IP. There is no more weird routing that has to go on. And the ability to reach so many different endpoints, kind of makes the brain go a little haywire when you think about how many things you're actually going to be able to connect. So from a virtualization standpoint, that's exciting on a worldwide scale. Maybe not for like a home studio or anything like that, but it's going to be really neat to see where that goes. Let's see, what else was really, really cool that I saw? Well, not that I would ever be able to afford one, but I got finally the opportunity to stop by the Phantom booth and check out their cameras operating at like 5,000 frames a second. Their cameras are just amazing. My only experience prior had been oddly shooting a skateboard video with one. Definitely not the right application by any means, but it was just really neat to talk to these guys who, down to how the information's moving through the buffers, their sales guys were just, yep, here's how it all goes. That was just more fun than anything else.
Yeah, and I know that you said you wanted to go there and explore around, but you were kind of hounded a lot at our booth. I did notice everybody wanted to speak with the lead engineer, so you worked hard there as well.
Yeah, I was expecting to explore a lot more, but obviously, I'm very happy. If there's people that want to chat with me, I welcome the opportunity. There's always something to be learned, something new for me. Sometimes even just chatting about a problem somebody's having, we open up all sorts of new doors. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it was a great learning experience for me. Speaking of all that, Michael has prepared a few photos of our experience at NAB and some of the stuff that Matt got to dive into this week. Matt had his big interview at LiveView, which was pretty cool, talking about our products. We had a full week of interviews with industry leaders, which was really amazing this year to be able to have like a lockdown tight schedule because we were able to make the most out of all of our conversations. And this is funny, those pictures, I'm speaking with Andrew Cross and Matt speaking with Michael Cornett. Kind of, the worlds colliding of engineers and leaders in the industry, especially with everything that we've just been going into with NDI.
From the 2018 NAB Show. We're back in studio.
It was fun to see
Here we
you
are,
and Andrew
we
together.
finished up our 2018 NAB Show debriefing. 15 pages of interviews giving you all the latest product information and technology announcements out there. And specifically for live streamers and people, not for the television broadcasters, for the live streamers like us, all the cool new announcements, we wrote it all down, so download it below and get that information.
Thank you, Michael, for putting that together for us. That was a fun little expose of our NAB adventures. And I was saying it was kind of fun. It was really cool for me to meet Andrew Cross. I was kind of starstruck, but it was interesting to see you and him in person together because I know that you guys do communicate and you've formed this sort of relationship. But it was fun to see a meeting of the minds at NAB.
Yeah, he and I have worked for, I guess, over a year at this point on NDI HX with our cameras. But had never had a video call or anything like that. We just, always chat back and forth. So it was really neat to finally get to meet face to face. As much as I love the digital world.
I don't believe that. That was the first time you met face to face?
Yeah.
You guys are old pals.
Well, we have a lot of similar interests. I will say that, and a lot of similar driving forces.
Right. Well, then I'm so happy then. I didn't actually realize it was your first time, physically meeting in person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we both kept saying, we're like, well, we're both at NAB. We probably should bump into each other, hopefully.
Too funny. And I know that you attended Andrew's speech at NAB, and I know that there was some exciting announcements that he made, a new Spark, a 4K Spark. Trying to think what else. Skype integration with NDI, right?
Yeah, so the Skype integration, that's huge. I mean, if you think about it now, NDI is going to get rolled out to 300 million Windows desktops overnight when this happens. It's just going to help NDI solidify. We all have a strong belief, but it's just going to solidify it even for people that don't know what it is at that point.
I wonder, I know, was that created for content creators like us, or was that more geared towards video conferencing, do you think?
I think a mix of both. So NewTek had worked with Microsoft prior on the talk show, and had the ability for Skype to call in and make a much higher quality call, so you could actually use it for professional things like a broadcast.
Right.
I think this is them doing a similar thing where, like, NDI is that high end, and then you've got NDI-HX, which, it's using some compression. You've got the same thing going on here where now Skype's going to be able to participate. It may not be as high end as the talk show, but it's now going to be able to be a professional part of your workflow. And I mean, to me, one of the coolest things there and it might have just been a little minor note, but it was neat seeing the direction they were headed. So beyond virtualization, they've moved towards touch screens. So what Andrew was talking about is that really they know there's a new generation of producers coming on, and that they're very used to how like an iPad workflow goes or something along those lines. So they're now trying to make it so easy that, you see the sea of sources on one side, and that you literally can use 2 fingers to get to the configuration. You swipe up to change the audio volume on that source, and then you can just kind of flick them over and make them live. So it's really neat to see them starting to address this, growing need in the background to make it flow like all these other devices. It just kind of solidified NewTek's really looking at a lot of the right angles.
Absolutely. It's interesting because something that I think about when I think about NewTek and the TriCasters, we always say that there's these sort of TriCast supporters that are ride or die, that have been using them for their entire video production experience. But it seems like NewTek is trying to appeal to that younger audience, and kind of blending the line between software and hardware a little bit with a platform like this with a touch screen. Is that right?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're moving in a direction. I think they're trying to leave a lot of things open because you think of it and you think of these higher end productions traditionally. And what one of their key things is they just want to enable people. You watch that high-end ABC broadcast, they want you to be able to try and do similar things to that so that you can make what's in your head, those dreams, a reality. And I think that's really what they're gaming for. They don't want people to feel left out and like they can't do it. They want to enable people to make content. Obviously, we all do, but it's such a beautiful way to go about it to really cater to how people want to ingest, the information, how they want to display it. It really is fantastic.
Yeah, and I think they have a similar, this might be why we collaborate so well together. They have a similar mentality as we're trying to be able to bring, like our slogan, broadcast quality made affordable, trying to bring that high quality production value to the masses and to the end user and content creator. And it seems like they're kind of in that same thought process, trying to make it accessible to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a step back and you look at how NewTek got its start, they pushed the idea of doing production on a PC, which nobody else was doing before. And one of the major components to that, if you looked at the price tag of previous systems to what they were offering, I mean, we may sit here now and think that a TriCaster is expensive, but if you look at what that's compared to, that is a very affordable device for what it does. So they've got the same mentality. It's just from a little further back ago. We're just a little younger on the scene here.
Right. Understandable there. So before we move on, is there anything else from NAB that I'm forgetting that it was left unsaid that happened? Any other juice?
I don't know. I mean, I saw all sorts of great things everywhere. Just nothing in particular else I'd narrow out as like, There's a lot of things I got privy to and can't talk about, I guess is what I should say.
Ooh.
So I'm trying to keep my mouth a little closed at the moment.
Well, there's something exciting about hearing that our lead engineer is excited about some things that are coming in the future. Everybody's saying hi to you.
2018 is going to be a very good year by the end for a lot of the stuff we've all been working on. A lot of new exciting products coming out from a lot of wonderful companies.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to everything that's coming from this year's NAB show. There's some exciting things that we do have today. Most of you may have known or heard, or if you have not yet, we have a brand new camera that's about to be released, that's about to be shipping. The 30X, the PTZOptics 30X optical zoom camera. We released this at NAB.
There it is.
Are you putting it up? I don't see the confidence monitor again. Sorry about that.
This is one of the enabled NDI units. We've got a nice warehouse full of these beautiful, beautiful cameras for anybody who would like one. They do come with a cost, unfortunately, but they are available. Now, one thing I'm going to have to pull up here just because, you know, this was one of those things, as stupid as it sounds, was hard to do. So I've got two cameras up here. One is a 20X and one is a 30X. I doubt you can tell the difference because until I flip them over myself, I can't.
Ah, I see.
Cameras,
we were talking about that.
Are identical. So the only way to tell is to look at the bottom. Even if you were to plug them in and just start zooming, we maintain the same field of view on this 30X camera and the same low light capabilities. So it's really just, if you love the 20X, you're absolutely going to fall in love with the 30X.
Yeah, I think that's going to provide a great solution to a lot. I had somebody tweet me last night asking about a large, not auditorium, a large church space that they were looking for like the maximum amount of zoom. And I was like, well, we've got this 30X coming out. But he was asking about low light situations. So, you know, refresh my memory. What would be the best part to access in our on-screen display menu for low light case scenarios? Because I've been getting a lot of questions about that lately while I have you.
Yeah. So there's actually a couple of spots you'd want to go. I could try and go over it now, but to do it proper, what might be ideal, if you're getting this question enough, I'd be happy to put together a small document for people. And literally outline like step 1, step 2, and depending on what you're seeing, what your next steps would be. Because it can be a little tricky, especially in low light scenarios. Even what I've done, I've seen people make their cameras sing in low light, you know, ways I've never been able to do. It's almost a little bit frustrating to see somebody else make something you've worked so hard on sing in a way you can't even make it sing.
Yeah, so let us know in the chat if you want to see Matt make that document.
Yes,
so we got a question.
I would be happy to put that together.
Wonderful. Shane says, glad you asked about the low light settings. Happy to help with that. Otis says, what's the price point for the 30X?
Yeah. So this you're going to love. So as a lot of you might know, our 12X camera, and Tess, correct me if you know I'm wrong here. I'm the engineer. Pricing isn't always my thing. $15.99 for our 12X, $16.99 for our 20X. Can anybody else out there guess what our 30X might be?
I think I know.
What do you think it is, Tess?
Is it $17.99? And I think.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep. Okay. Oh, okay. So
now,
yes,
go
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
We also have the NDI enabled model. So I'll go over those as well. For anybody that doesn't know, our pre-enabled NDI 12X is $19.99. Our 20X is $20.99. And our 30X is $21.99.
Oh, really? Patrick's saying something different in the chat. I don't know what. So
he might be spitting out MSRP. I'm saying MAP pricing.
Okay, yeah. So that's MAP pricing. Patrick's talking about MSRP, just to clarify for you guys. It's really exciting to see such a small price difference for our customers in the 20X to the 30X. We might, I mean, I don't know what that's going to mean for the 20X, but that's awesome for the 30X that it's so accessible.
Yeah.
At that
You know
price
I'm going to
point.
get that 30X.
Michael says you know I'm gonna get
Yeah, Paul has already put one on order for you guys, just to let you know.
Okay, everybody is very excited in the chat to hear those. Mike says, I freaking love you guys. Is my social working properly? I don't know if it's sending the right thing here. Let me just test this one more time. Yeah, that's not right. Okay, well, I'm going to verbalize the questions for you then because I have the chat right here.
Yeah.
Guido says, might be a bit off topic, but what happens when the camera suddenly loses power? And if the camera suddenly loses power?
It will go off.
The image would go away. I guess that's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the camera will go off. That's
it's not
really all that'll
detrimental,
happen.
I assume, to the camera's health.
No. The only thing that can be, and I'll take a step back. If you aren't using a surge protector with the camera and you have a brownout, which is where the power goes a little below where it should be, or you have spikes going on with the power coming on and off, you can damage the camera because that power will go right through and it will send voltages that are way above what it is acceptable. So you do have the potential to either fry the power supply or potentially the camera. So it's always good to make sure you've got a surge protector at the very least on the camera. Okay.
All right. Well, that's great information to have. I heard that you had a little test footage that you were going to be open to sharing with us today from the 30X.
I do have some test footage. So for anybody who wants to see, excuse the rough nature of this video file.
Full screen.
Yeah, if you send me full screen, I'll send this thing.
Can you test vMix social again?
So this is from about 75 foot away. I was seeing if I could get to that Dilbert comic, but yeah, I didn't quite get to the Dilbert comic. But yeah, that's about 75 foot from where you're seeing that start to where we end in just a second here.
Nice. Michael, can you bring him full screen and maybe we could just do it one more time? Oh, there we go. It's full screen.
Looks good.
Yay. And that's our warehouse for everybody who's wondering.
Yes.
Wow, that kicks butt.
And
Let's see if I can get myself back here.
And that's the full 30X zoom.
Yes, that's the full 30X zoom there. So we'll obviously, I'm sure Paul will do something much prettier than what I just did there, but I figured you guys probably wanted to see something out of the camera, so there's a little something for you guys.
Thank you for sharing that with us. That was just internal yesterday, so you guys are lucky getting the full expose here. Ooh, Jason just got his hands on 3 30X cams. He must have just reached out recently then.
Woo!
Everybody's really excited about the 30Xs. Clearly, you guys
I will say we did work really hard on the 30X. I know it sounds ridiculous, but maintaining that field of view in that same low light with a 30X versus the 20X was not the easiest feat. But we knew we'd gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of you, and thank you, on the things that you loved so much about the 20X, and we really wanted to try and make sure that stayed the same going into the 30X.
Yeah, that's something that you do a really, really good job at, Matt. You pretty much just listen to what everybody wants, and if it's possible, it will likely be on a next version of our camera or a new camera. So I think that's part of how people...
I can't thank people enough for whether it's emails, whether it's, sending Tess an idea that she relays to me, keep that input coming, guys. I'm more of a hardware, software guy. All of you have taught me so much about production. It's not even funny in the ways that you use these products. And every time I use it to try and make these products better and better, to make your life easier and easier. And hopefully, we're actually achieving that.
Hey, Tess, do you know what title the vMix social needs to be on?
What title the vMix social needs to be on?
Yeah.
Well, we need to have the title on vMix. So just don't worry about it for now. It's all right. I can read it right here, so we'll be good with just verbalizing some of this stuff. So people, so apparently there are a few cameras in stock right now, 30Xs in stock, from what I'm seeing in the chat.
Yes, we definitely have them in stock.
Okay.
We've definitely got pre-enabled NDI units for the 12, the 20, the 30. We've got the 30X SDI. We've got everything in stock at the moment.
Oh, yeah, it's a good day.
Buy.
Absolutely. Ben says, does the NDI version of the 30X, is it NDI HX?
Yes, it is. All of our cameras are HX for now.
Okay. Jason says, we noticed the new cam web interface doesn't seem to work in Chrome when trying to set up. Are there any plans to fix this so the people who need to configure can view from browser? Google Chrome issues with the web interface.
Yeah, so Google's been making a lot of back-end changes to Chrome. We've been trying to keep up, but every time we actually get something updated, they've changed it again. So what we started to do is anybody who has Internet Explorer or Firefox has noticed, they actually have become a little more stable to develop around. So we've been making a push, and you'll see more of a push towards IE and Firefox at the moment, just because it's not having funny business with the material design and trying to push it on us in the background. So what I would say is you will see some updates coming out soon that are going to address as many of these issues as we possibly can with the incompatibilities. But in all reality, we're trying to make it so that if Chrome didn't work, you know, you can always fall back on IE or Firefox without any issue.
Okay, that's good. So everybody should have access to that. People are requesting a side-by-side of the 20X and the 30X. We'll have that soon for you guys.
Oh. So guys, I hate to say it, but I have an underpowered PC here. I had actually set that up for you all. And as soon as I went to launch, I was hitting 100% utilization. And I figured you guys might want to chat with me rather than see some glitchy side-by-side comparison.
Right, not a good look anyways. So.
Yeah. I was going to actually try and have you all vote. Maybe we can work with Paul on this, but see if you guys could judge which was the 20 and the 30 as they go side by side and zoom to the same point.
I like that. Never thought I'd see the day that we'd push for IE.
Yeah, I never thought the day would come either.
What exactly does that mean for us newbies?
So Internet Explorer, a long time not favorite of most people, except for having to configure hardware via web interface for a long time. That used to be the only reason I would use Internet Explorer, but I'll give Microsoft some credit. And talking to some of the directors over there behind IE and Edge, they are making some pushes to be the friendlier option anymore.
Okay, very interesting. I got a couple questions. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, I don't think so, at least.
Well, that's because what happened was I had my Facebook volume turned up, and then I got confused for a second. So we got a few questions about the difference in quality in SDI and NDI HX. Is there going to be for new people, is there going to be a very noticeable difference in quality there?
No. So the biggest difference that if you were to really sit there and stare at these things side by side, what you're going to notice is color space. So when you're doing our SDI output, you're getting 422. When you do our HX, you're getting 420. So you're actually losing some of the color space. Okay. So that's just part of the compression that's going on. So really the main thing that you're going to notice is that you might not have as beautiful of gradients going on as like a light hits something red and it almost looks like it's orange going to a white going into red. You know, it might just look a little more muted. So that's really the main difference you'd notice if you sat there trying to nitpick between our SDI output and looking at the HX feed. That's what you're really going to notice.
Okay, great. Hello, RCTV. Tech Condo says Internet Exploder.
Haven't heard that in a while.
I know. I can appreciate some of these little geek gags. So I think that covers it for the main portion of our interview, Mr. Davis. What do you say we head into a quick giveaway and then Q&A for everybody in the chat?
Sounds wonderful.
All right. Thank you so much for powering through this with me today. Michael, thank you too.
I'm glad to be here with you.
Yeah. Everybody, this was a nice little meetup here without Paul. I got an empty seat right here for Paul. You're with us in spirit, my friend. All right, guys. I am going to... Do we have an outro today, Michael or Nye?
We do have an outro.
All right. Let's cue the outro and move on to the giveaway. Thank you guys so much. All right, and we are back. We still have Matt with us to answer some of the questions that you guys may have, but we're going to spin the wheel for you today. Let me know that you're here in the chat so this process is as quick and easy and painless as possible for all of you. Yeah, Michael, will you grab the wheel for me? I see you're doing that. Thank you so much. I'm going to hop on Gleam here and draw a winner very quickly. Ah, hey. Did a little camera switcheroony here. These PTZs are good for something, right? All right, Anders Johansson from Sweden. Anders, are you here? Wonder what time it is in Sweden right now. Going to put this now in the... Oh, Anders is here. Wow, what a blessing that it was that quick. And I'm so happy that you're here, Anders. And what time is it in Sweden? Let me know in the chat. All right, thank you, Michael.
Are we spinning?
Do you want to spin it again?
Yeah,
you had really good luck with it last time. Maybe you'll, spin another free camera.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, there might be a job opening if he does that.
All right, so I'm going to switch it.
Do you want to sit with us too, Michael, for the post show?
Absolutely.
We can just keep it on our camera with Matt and us. I think that would be fun, right, Matt?
I'm good with that.
All right.
Are we on the double Z?
Yes, we are. We're
Okay.
right here. You ready?
Yes.
All
Come
right.
on over. All right.
All right, we're going to
It's 9:30 p.m. in Sweden right now. All right, go
Okay.
ahead, Michael.
Those colors fly.
It's going to be...
A hat.
a hat.
We actually have some pretty cool hats nowadays. Are we on some, we can see Matt too?
No.
All right, let's switch that so we can bring Matt in for the Q&A.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Michael. We're making it happen here on this Friday two-man show today. I wonder how Paul and I used to do it, or how Paul used to do it by himself. So, okay, Anders, congrats. I will see about sending you a hat. We have a PTZOptics hat and a Stream Geeks hat that you could pick from. Now back to the chat to see if we have any questions here for Sir Matthew. Going back, I have a question. When will PTZOptics offer an NDI 4K Wi-Fi auto tracking camera for $200? That's Sean, Matt. So don't have a heart attack. Didn't realize.
I'll answer that one by saying tomorrow, just because it's you.
Sean, oh, you're too funny. You're a funny little bugger there. Sometimes it feels like that with some of the requests you might get, Matt.
There are some oddball ones that come up every now and then where it's like, yeah, I would love to make wireless power happen for you, but I don't see that being built into our cameras first.
Too funny. Options for weather sealing a PTZOptics camera.
Sure. So we work with a company called Dotworks, and Dotworks has enclosures that fit our PTZOptics PTZ cameras with no problem whatsoever. We've got one outside of our office. It's been up there for, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years at this point. Lived through some really nasty weather, and it's still kicking without a problem. So
Yeah.
I would highly, highly recommend take a look at Dotworks, DOTWORKZ.
That's right. Yep. A lot of sports people using them. Okay. Has anyone done NDI from different locations?
Yes. So there's actually a solution out there called Sienna Cloud. So if you want to take a look, what it does is sets up remote gateways using a PC so that you can do remote production of NDI sources.
Okay. I'm just going to cycle through these for you, Matt. I'm sorry to lay them all on you, but you're the man of the hour here. Matthew says, what about the issue with the 1080p 60 frames per second not working with Blackmagic Divine TV Studio?
And that would be Blackmagic not actually accepting a proper 60 frames per second signal. Unfortunately, nothing we can do from our side to fix that.
I thought that if our cameras were set to like 59 point something frames per second, it would be compatible at 60 frames per second.
So if you use the PAL format, so if you do 50 frames a second, 25 frames a second, those standards are, they work with the Blackmagic equipment. The problem is with a lot of the Blackmagic equipment, all of your inputs have to be the same. So if you've got 150, depending on the hardware you've got from them, you can't have a 60 and a 29.9. You can't have them all mixed together. So what you wind up with is you feed ours in 50. Now everything else has to be set for 50, and other equipment might not have that capability.
I see. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have here. I see my vMix Social just so I'm behind. And now the guys are joking around. Patrick's like, Sean, how small are you thinking? Okay, Barnaby Campbell says, a client wants to send our stream to 5+ TVs and they haven't enabled multicast because they've never had a problem before. Is this going to be an issue when we're using loads of NDI channels?
Yes. They really, if you want to be doing things like that, you've really got two options at that point. Enabling multicast is likely the easiest and better solution for the long term. However, your other option is to use something like a media server. So something like the one I love tinkering with, by no means the best out there, Unreal Media Server. So what it allows you to do is send broadcasts to the server and then rebroadcast from the server to multiple locations so that you're handling it all unicast. And as long as your PC, the server you're using, has enough horsepower, you can push to a bunch of clients at that point. But you know, really multicast is the way better option here. You know, it opens up so many doors if you can get that working properly.
Okay, there's a comment here from Bill. I saw 2 auto tracking cameras at NAB plus one company who said they gave up. Are you looking at this capability, Matt?
Yeah, I'm constantly evaluating auto tracking solutions. There's so many of them, it's ridiculous. But we do have a unit that has some unique features that we've been working on. And what makes it unique is it's not just the camera as part of what you would use. I will just say, yeah, there's some other special hardware that goes along to make some extra magic happen, but it's nowhere near ready for the limelight, unfortunately. When it does launch, you'll see some feature sets, though, next year probably, that you don't see in any other tracking cameras.
Very interesting stuff. Alrighty. Are there remote control options for WAN as opposed to LAN? Is that what we were just kind of covering?
Remote control options for WAN. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, if you're using NDI, you can use Sienna Cloud. Otherwise, most people wind up doing either VPN or a static IP that gives them remote access. And then you'll remote desktop into the system and control everything that way, which comes with its own hiccups. I'm sure plenty of people in the chat have tried exactly that before because it seems like this awesome, amazing idea. And the reality of it is when it works great. And when it doesn't, it just makes you want to pull your hair out.
Oh, do you want to? I think there's a splitter up there, and there should be headphones in here if you want to split.
I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just the eye candy.
Sure.
Okay. Alrighty, let me try it. There's a lot for you, Matt.
That's good.
Easy
Questions
move
are
camera.
good.
Do you ever plan to introduce this?
I'm not
Easy
going to comment
ease.
on that at the moment. Yep, not commenting on that.
Okay.
I will just say that we are exploring that plus a lot more. That is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're looking at the moment.
Very interesting. Nick just recently bought 2 USB 3.0 20x PTZOptics cameras and was curious if they can be powered over Ethernet. Haven't bought a PoE switch yet.
Yeah, they are not able to be powered over Ethernet. We didn't have the time to redesign the boards to isolate everything, so the USB models they need local power.
Okay, but the SDI versions, you can do that.
Yes, yeah, the modern shipping since October of 2016, somewhere around there, it's been PoE for the PTZ models.
Okay. Wireless connections for Tesla coil-based streaming.
What?
You've piqued my curiosity just out of a personal interest of building Tesla coils with that one. I don't fully understand what you're asking, though, but you've really piqued my curiosity.
Yeah. Amarnath
Yeah,
is asking... Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I guess the only thing I can think of that they might be curious about is the stray power in the air and if it would affect the camera. And most likely, yes. You'd probably want to make sure that you're using the right enclosure to prevent any of that energy from hitting the camera, the lines, things like that. But if you've got more information, feel free to reach out to me because I'm curious. I'm definitely curious what you're talking about there.
You sparked his interest. Okay, question here. Yaroslav has a 20x and is losing focus at slow zoom speed from high distances.
We have on our knowledge base,
I'll put it in the chat.
help.ptzoptics.com, I think. If you go on there, there's a nice little resource section that will walk you through how to retrain your camera if you're having focus issues.
So this is the recalibration thing that I'm going to be grabbing here. Okay.
Exactly.
I'll just paste the downloads page directly into the chat so Yarmouth can access that. We're solving support issues live today.
Yeah, that's right.
Good thing we have Sean in the chat too. Okay, all right. Okay. Sorry, Matt. I'm just trying to read through these.
No worries. No worries. Yeah,
now
I wish I had something
3D. Barnaby Campbell.
Okay, so Barnaby.
Nobody watches.
I have built two
3D
cameras. I have built them. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them.
Is it because they're so expensive?
Fun exercise in learning.
Because you gotta have the glasses.
And that's about where it ended, unfortunately.
Like it's a wearable. I don't know.
Right. I wonder what the deal is with the 3D cameras. Are they just like $5 or $10 million or something? I don't know.
No, they do range. So like I've seen everything. Like actually, there's these awesome, really inexpensive ones. They're called WeViews. They're like $200. Fits in your pocket, and they do a great job. Yeah, I mean, if anybody wanted to play with 3D video, I'd highly recommend checking out their cameras. Right price point. Kind of a weird button system to make it do what you want, but at its price, I couldn't complain at all. It did a fantastic job.
All right. Oh, focus presets in vMix. I believe that has been released on their latest version, which will be coming out later this month.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt.
I think you're right. And everybody out there, fingers crossed, the firmware we're working on finishing right now. I've just got my first beta copy. Should resolve our focus issues for UDP control, which is what will enable it in vMix for PTZOptics.
So we're working on our end.
And again, it's something we're aware. We've got the issue. It is not vMix. It is not vMix. It is not vMix. It is me. I made a little hiccup, and yeah,
Matt, you don't
UDP
hiccup.
control has some issues at the moment, unfortunately.
Well, luckily nobody can really even get it yet anyways, so we have a little bit of time here. But that's definitely something that's happening soon. Oh, Mike says, still, I get more and more impressed with Matt's abilities. I clearly have a lot to learn. We are too.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the kind words. I don't know what I'm doing. I just keep moving forward.
Tell us how you got so smart.
That's a good...
what did your parents feed you? And what books did they read you?
That's all I can say. I wanted to break things and tear them apart. And
drank water out of the hose.
Some of the things I couldn't get back together. That's where I learned maybe I, needed to watch what I was doing.
What was the computer you were telling us about that you saved up your allowance for?
That's right.
That was a good story.
So we had a neighbor that had been given a PC, and she was an older lady. So this would probably be about 88, maybe 89, somewhere in there. And so what wound up happening, she waited 1 year until the gentleman who gave it to her came back for Christmas, saw the PC again, and then she immediately said, "Does your kid want this? Please get it out of my home." So I got this awesome PC. But then I learned there were these things called modems. So for 6 months, I saved up my allowance to buy a used 300 BPS modem just so I could start talking to bulletin board systems and that very intriguing little Baby Bell station that was right down the road.
That is so funny. And how old were you when this happened? Approximately
8, something like that, 9, somewhere in there.
8 years old. So you've always just sort of had an interest in computers and technology.
As soon as that got plopped in front of me, I did. Prior to that, I mean, you'd find me outside building forts and tree
like
houses.
Working with your hands and building things.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, a Angus farm, so it was, what else are you gonna do?
Mike says, how does one learn to be a Matt? The level of geekery is astounding.
It's just inherent in me. I don't know what to say.
Isn't it funny that in our industry, that's a compliment?
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's always the stay curious of the unknown.
Yeah.
It's funny how things change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In high school,
the one thing to keep in mind, if you can't explain it simply, you need to keep learning.
I like that.
What do you say?
If you can't explain something simply, then you need to keep learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then nobody else.
I'm paraphrasing an Einstein quote there, so it's not me.
Oh, man, I thought it was you. He said that's actually Einstein. Paraphrasing. I was like, wow, and he has awesome quotes.
It's a recycled quote.
Yeah, exactly. When the first time I read that, it was like, he's right. If I can't say something simply, I need to go back to the drawing board.
Hi, Lena. Nate says, working at a college and we have 15 old Sony PTZs across 4 venues throughout campus feeding back to one control room via SDI/fiber. How much of an impact on the network would NDI make if they were going to switch to NDI cameras? NDI HDMI?
Yeah, so it depends. Yeah, so if you're doing NDI, it's pure NDI, plan 100 megs per stream. Now, if you do HX, our cameras really, I'm going to give you a high-end number that really you should never see but would be very safe to plan around, and that's 20 megs per stream. So, whatever your network capabilities, your bottlenecks are, however many cameras you have in one location trying to get to the other, plan on those streams being around 20 megs. That obviously, if HX ends up accommodating 4K cameras into the future, that number will grow. But at the moment, 20 megs should be fine for a 1080/60 feed.
All right.
With HX.
Amarnath says, can the 30x SDI camera work on a digital video mixer? Panasonic MX70 specifically.
I cannot say without looking up the specs on that Panasonic product.
Oh, Patrick's covering this one in the chat as well, so we should be good there. Couldn't you use a PoE Texas PoE kit to power a PTZOptics USB camera?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely.
if you were to get
it's just not inherent to the camera. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I should have mentioned that before, actually. Just kind of didn't even think of it.
Okay. What else do we have here?
Oh, we're getting a lot of questions today.
I know. Matt's here, so.
Good. Yeah, keep them coming. You know, I like answering questions when I get the opportunity.
Okay, any chance a firmware update that supports 1080p 59.94 will be released?
I will tell you that it is absolutely impossible with our cameras to make that happen with a firmware update. But the fact I'm wording it that way might tell you a thing or two.
Alrighty. Matt, I think that covers everything. You seriously have gotten to every single question that I've seen, unless a few more file in. So we so appreciate that you coming on today.
I did see one question in the chat that we didn't address, and somebody out there likes the shirts. I really like these ones too. So if we ever order more of them, you know, just saying, I wouldn't mind an extra one or two.
Well, technically, we do have a t-shirt shop now for Stream Geeks, so if you want, we can add them to it.
Sweet. Yeah, I don't know why. Just like the colors, I like the fit.
/shop. I'll put him on. Yeah, he likes that shirt, and somebody in the chat was asking if they could get one. So, all right, I'll put it up. I can put any shirt we want up there.
I think we should design the Matt Davis t-shirt.
We should design a Matt Davis t-shirt.
Something like outline, like his face outline, like that. It's like the hair and the glasses, and we can just do an outline of that. I bet it'll be a #1 seller.
I'm like sure. I am excited to see this now.
Oh my goodness, too funny. And I'm glad that I thought you wouldn't. Yeah, he's even getting to the shirt questions.
That's good.
Well, Matt, thank you for addressing the audience today.
When are you going to have your own show?
Yeah, I mean, I play around. Not that anybody would find the streams that I make out there, but I will say there's some hidden websites and streams that do have me hidden in the background. Some content I put out there. I do not advertise it. I do not let people know that it's there. But yeah, hey, if you want to go and find it, by all means. In fact, for anyone who's out there, all the ideas I can't make myself, I have a giant, giant site filled with all my wondrous, glorious ideas. Some of them are way better than others.
Give us the link. Give us the link.
Right?
What's amazing is I tried to hide it, and the amount of people that find it is surprising.
Well, yeah, we got a lot of smart cookies that's in our audience and that follows us. So you never know, they might find it. Does Matt know another device that can turn the Ethernet on the NDI cam stow Wi-Fi and work more efficiently than the consumer device I'm using?
It sounds like the Spark is really what
the Spark,
unless I'm mistaken, that can take the Ethernet on the NDI cam's Wi-Fi and work more efficiently than the consumer device I'm using. NDI cams to Wi-Fi. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the Spark is really what you're looking for there. The NDI, the NewTek Spark. So it's got an HDMI input and allows that to become an output, and it will work in a Wi-Fi method as long as it's not, you know, bombarded with other Wi-Fi signals going on.
Okay. Yes, he's using a D-Link DAP 1350 wireless end-pocket router and access point. I don't know what any of that means. I'm like, or the new Magewell card.
Does that do wireless?
Magewell,
I didn't think it did wireless.
There's a software that comes with it that can...
Yeah, so pairing it with a PC, you could do things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Spark... Oh, so there... Okay, I think I get what you're trying to do. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're trying to actually almost have an NDI viewer. So something where you can put it out and wirelessly receive an NDI feed. if that's what you're trying to do, currently, I'm sure solutions will pop up soon that do this, but the Intel Compute Stick. So the Intel Compute Stick with an M3 processor can handle up to 4K 30 frames a second NDI feeds using Studio Monitor on it. So at the moment, that's what I would recommend looking at if you wanted to view NDI sources on TVs. The one thing to be aware of is that Wi-Fi multicast is not really a common thing. So you will be eating up more bandwidth in a unicast fashion that way.
Okay. Looking for NDI to wireless. Okay. One more question about the 30X. How many speed steps on PT and min PT speed? I'm so lost with some of this stuff.
know. I don't even know what that is.
So I do have these numbers written down. If you want to get in touch with Tess to get in hold of me, by all means, I can tell you the exact amount of, at the slowest speed, how slow the camera goes per radians, stuff like that. Just off the top of my mind, with everything we're working on, that doesn't reign supreme, unfortunately.
All right. Now I think that does wrap everything up, guys. Feel free to reach out to myself if you have any other inquiries for Matt that are just burning beyond this conversation. But I think this was really helpful, Matt. So I really appreciate you taking the time on a Friday afternoon to be with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you both so much for setting this up, getting it all run, producing and making this happen. I appreciate that.
All right, well, that wraps it up for us today. If you guys want to continue the conversation, feel free, if you haven't already, to join our Facebook user group. That's kind of where the party happens, especially after we're live. So head over to facebook.com/groups/PTZOptics Pals. We're PTZOptics Pals, and let's talk. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Yeah. Adios. You got to go.
I got to go. Everyone have a nice weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, man, he's on top of us. I was going to put a heart on.
We need to work out multi-layers.
Something like that. All right, Matt, thank you, guys. Great tech show today. Great show. Everyone is really thankful to you, Matt. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate them all coming to see me.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Stefan.
All right, cut your mic.
All right. Can you hear me now?